This is how narcissists turn therapy into their own stage. Hello, and welcome back to my channel, where I talk about narcissism and how to deal with toxic people in your life. When the narcissist in your life finally decides to get help, it may seem like a dream come true. If you're thinking, great, this is progress. Then you understand that they are regaining power over you through therapeutic means. Because it sounds like a perfect scenario, let's dive in. They start making progress in therapy, start listening more, and start empathizing more. Yet, many wonder, do narcissists actually go to therapy? In a word, yes. However, decreasing their narcissism is rarely the driving force behind their decision to start therapy. When narcissists seek help, it's usually because they're having problems. With others, at work, with substances, with anxiety, with temper tantrums, or with some combination of these traits. If they decide to start therapy because of these problems, that's a good sign if they stick with it. Some changes are expected to occur during and after successful therapy. You, as a partner or family member of the narcissist, may not benefit from the changes they undergo. However, progress is being made, and therapists may even notice a few noteworthy changes. The sad truth is that even their participation in therapy can have long-term negative effects on you, as is the case with many other aspects of narcissistic relationships. Let's take a look at this phenomenon and see what it's like. First of all, because to their inflated sense of self-importance, narcissists frequently leave treatment convinced that they have learned everything they need to know and are completely better. They can use their newfound knowledge to show off in front of you and try to intimidate you. The old adage, knowledge is power, rings especially true in their situation. In therapy, they might get an understanding of things like boundaries. If you don't secure your grip on the wheel, they just might use what they've learned to exert even more power over you. If you teach them how to create limits, they may use that information to dominate you even more. For example, I expect you to do these tasks in our relationship. I expect you to let me watch TV while you clean up after dinner. Or, I don't need to be home to sign for that package. Then when you need help or make a basic request, they may brush you off by stating, "Oh, I'm just setting a boundary." Even if you just need them to sign a form for the kids' school before the 6 o'clock deadline, they can respond, "No, I'm setting a boundary," by saying "I can't." They'll misunderstand a term like boundaries and then use that misunderstood concept to assert their entitlement in a new way, thinking they're being clever and savvy. Second, they may try to use their background in therapy to excuse their hostile and threatening behavior toward you. During treatment, individuals may be exposed to ideas like better communication, but they will likely ignore the emphasis placed on empathy. Afterwards, they might explain, "Well, I'm working on being clear in therapy. I was just being very clear with you." This might be followed by a statement that comes across as cold, brusque, or downright unpleasant. Third, if they are in therapy and you are not, they will likely use this as evidence of how much better off they are mentally than you. When confronted with this, they may respond, "I'm doing the work." It's as if they were trying to boast about how often they've been to the gym or how well they've been watching their diet. The next time tensions rise between you two, expect them to respond, "Well, I'm putting in the effort." And because of this, they will likely continue to think you aren't putting in the effort required to get this result, which we will refer to as work here. Fourth, they may try to use what their therapist has said against you by twisting or manipulating it, even if they know it's not true. They might say something like, "My therapist agrees that your anger issues are affecting me," or, "Well, my therapist said you're expecting too much from me." It's possible they'll even remark something like, "My therapist thinks you complain excessively." By using some triangulation, this strategy effectively creates the ultimate catch-18 situation. Why? Because therapists are bound by confidentiality laws that prevent them from sharing information about their clients with anyone, including you. In other words, the narcissist in your life may be making up quotes attributed to their therapist, or, at the absolute least, twisting the meaning of quotes from their therapist in order to gaslight you. If their story doesn't make sense, it's likely that they are making up or manipulating the therapist's statements. It is preferable to avoid further discussion and not assume that their therapist is genuinely saying such things. Fifthly, they may go even further by blaming their therapist for the couple's continued marital struggles. You may be questioning why, despite their therapy, things don't simply seem to be holding steady, but are actually becoming worse. It's possible they'd say things like, "I don't feel safe with you," or "you're an unsafe person," and then claim their therapist approves of their decision to withhold information in such a setting. Sixthly, they may engage in a little bit of pious boasting about their therapy attendance. They may talk as though they were the first person to confide in a therapist ever. This sort of conduct is rather typical. While they parade around like they've discovered the secret of fire for the first time, and boast about how courageous they are for entering therapy, you may still find yourself caught in the same toxic relationship as before. Extra credit is due if they begin bragging on Instagram about their bravery in therapy. The narcissist's decision to seek help in therapy is frustrating because you may have hoped it would mark a turning point and bring about positive change. After all, you care deeply about this someone and love them. Listen, if a narcissist does improve at all throughout therapy, it's usually not enough to make a difference in their interpersonal interactions. When under pressure, disappointed, or at odds with someone, the old habits often re-emerge immediately. Changes may be apparent to therapists, but not in everyday life. In addition, when a therapist starts talking about feelings and taking responsibility, many narcissists will likely stop going. Yet, it might be extremely distressing to think, okay, now there's a witness, and that witness will surely call them out. You know that narcissists can keep it together for a while, display charisma, and maybe even love-bomb their therapists, but that they are also experts at presenting only a well-curated slice of the whole picture. It may take a good therapist a few months, if that, to get to the bottom of things. Unfortunately, this could mean suffering through a few more months of feeling like things are getting worse, not better, in your relationship, right when you were hoping for the opposite. You may be thinking, their therapist is addressing these issues, so maybe I should permit them to communicate more directly, even though it's causing me distress, which further complicates the matter. It is important to remember, however, that no professional or ethical therapist would ever recommend that their client intentionally hurt someone else. Many narcissists, as I noted before, will use their therapy as proof of their purported superior health and growth in comparison to others, which is yet another form of gaslighting. You're holding on to hope, and that's okay. Sometimes, all it takes are small tweaks on the narcissist's part to bring about long-term change and success, even if it doesn't come as quickly as you'd want. I appreciate your time and help, and I hope that helps clarify things.